Hey, mama. So, one mistake I made when I started my business was not planning for my maternity leave. As I've shared in previous podcast episodes, I started my business while pregnant with my daughter, and I thought that I could just get away with taking maybe a week or two off and then get back to work. And the thing is that like with that pregnancy, I was planning for a home birth and I imagined the recovery would be way different compared to with my first when I had to have a C-section. Well, my daughter decided to do her own thing, refused to tuck her head so that she could actually come out. And so I ended up having to be transferred to the hospital and had another C-section. And so I did not plan for that recovery time. I did not really plan for any type of maternity leave. And that was a huge, huge mistake, like literally the worst decision ever. And so I don't want you to go through what I went through. I don't want you to do what I did. And so I'm so excited for you to hear from my friend Zhara Henry, who is sharing all about maternity leave for business owners and how to plan for a peaceful maternity leave. This was such a good conversation and gives you lots to think about, if you are going to be going on maternity leave soon, or maybe that in the future you want to start having kids, or maybe you want to have more kids. This episode is going to give you everything you need to do and know in order to properly prepare and plan for your maternity leave. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Hey, mama. Are you tired of feeling stressed and overwhelmed trying to grow your online business with your babies at home? You desire more flexibility in your day, allowing you to pour into your family, yourself, and your business without running yourself into the ground. Mama, you can build your dream business and do it in a way that fits your current season of life. And I'm going to show you exactly how. Welcome to the Mama Turned Mompreneur podcast. I'm your host, Andria Singletary, daughter of the king, wife, mama of two, and life and business coach for mompreneurs. On this podcast, you will learn business strategies made for mamas just like you, who desire to be successful CEOs and fully present mamas without stress or overwhelm. So whether you're an entrepreneur who transitioned to a mompreneur or a mama turned mompreneur, I am here to support you. So grab your coffee, notebook, and pen, put in those earbuds, and let's dig in. All right, today on the Mama Turned Mompreneur podcast, I am talking to Zhara-Marie Henry, and we are talking all about maternity leave. So taking maternity leave as a business owner. So Zhara, welcome to the show. Please tell us about yourself, who you are, what you do, and all about your family.
Thanks so much, Andrea, for having me. My name is Zara. As you all heard before, I am an online business manager, and my clients trust me to run the back end of their business. That second brain, the person who manages systems, manages projects, manages teams, especially if you're using contractors. I've been in the online business space for over a decade. I have gone through various pivots, various roles. But the role in operations is one that has always called me. And this is a recent pivot, maybe in the past year, but it feels as if I've been here a very long time.
Yeah, so I'm so excited to have you here on the podcast. And I know just kind of following you on Threads, you recently supported a client with her maternity leave and everything. So maybe we could chat about that too. But let's talk about maternity leave as a business owner. I often see like mom business owners not necessarily plan for their maternity leave, or they say they're just going to take like maybe a couple of weeks off. And I know I did that when I had my second child. And so why should a mom in business really plan for her maternity leave?
I mean, I think planning is integral in everything and with everything, but one of the main issues I see that happens whenever moms don't plan is that they either go back when they're not ready, when their bodies and their minds aren't ready, or the business stays dormant and then it takes months to recover. So they'll say, okay, I'm going to take 2 or 3 months off, but that 2 and 3 months may take you a year getting it back where it was supposed to be. And I've seen it happen. And I remember just thinking about it. And I'm not a mom yet, but I thought about what I wanted my life to look like when I do decide to become a mom in the next couple of years. And for me, that was one of my apprehensions when I thought about entrepreneurship, because, nothing is set in stone, nothing is stable, and you have to grind every day. But it's so important that you are showing up as your best self for your child. And that, I think, should take into consideration how you put your maternity leave into perspective. So it's important. I know I just said a lot, but so it's important to plan, because one, it helps you to create safe boundaries with yourself and your business. Two, it helps you to think about what the future of this business will look like instead of leaving it dormant and then coming back. And then also it helps you to just be the best version of a mom and the best version of an entrepreneur that you can be.
Yes, those points are so true, especially, you know, if you don't have that plan in place. And I'm speaking from my own experience, you feel this pressure to jump back in when, like you said, you're not necessarily ready. For me, I had already started my business while I was pregnant with my second, and then I had her. And I felt like I had to jump back in so I could start, getting my income and all of that. But it was hard because I still had my son who he was just 2. I had this newborn and I'm trying to run this business. And so,
Girl.
yeah, it was a crazy time. This is why I have you on the podcast, because I don't want anybody else to go through what I went through.
I know. Oh my gosh. Just thinking about it blows my mind, because, I mean, when I think about even period pain, like menstrual cramps are horrible. And I want to plan. Like, I literally have planned my business around my cycle, knowing that, in the ovulation, it's the creative mode and you have the luteal phase. So and the cycle syncing, I'm sure maybe if you haven't spoken about it, you'll talk about it another time. But even planning like my business around my cycle has been beneficial. So I can't even fathom the stress on not just your body, but the mental stress that jumping right back into business does for you. And the truth is, a lot of moms don't have the option, Andrea. Like, some moms may want to go to maternity leave and may want to plan it, but they're like, hey, Zara, I just don't have the option. I need to continue. This business needs to continue to make money because I'm a single mom or I'm the breadwinner of the family. Right. And for that's why we think about planning for your income. And I always tell people that planning for your maternity leave is at least after you've covered the first trimester, if not before. Like, if you can pre-plan before you get pregnant, that would be great. But of course, we don't always make these plans. But whenever first trimester is finished would be the most ideal time. But I'm telling you that even because you're thinking about inconsistent income and the fact that you're the breadwinner and the fact that you'll have to still continue to provide financially, but that can also be put into the plan. Right. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to add that there, because I know, especially as women, when we have to do like the childbearing and the child raising and manage the bills and everything, and we don't have a partner, whether it be like a partner who's helping or a partner who's taking over full time, we just have to jump right in.
Yeah. Definitely, like, thankfully, I did have my husband and everything, but I mean, it was still like during the pandemic and, things were crazy at that time too. But kind of speaking about this a little bit more, what are some key considerations for mom business owners when planning their maternity leave? So that way they can ensure they have like that smooth transition and that continuity in their business operations.
I think that the first thing that moms should, or potential moms should do, is think about what they want their maternity leave to look like, because it looks differently for everybody. Mm-hmm. So for some people, they go full cold turkey where they take the entire 2-3 months off, and we create a plan in order to continue showing up for those moments, right? But for some people, they want to be able to gradually ease in and maybe check in once or twice a week and still accomplish 1 or 2 tasks, just because it's okay to choose to work if you can choose, but it's when the choice is robbed of you. So I would first consider what we want that to look like. And then I would also consider how we could create offers that can provide some sort of MRR, monthly recurring revenue. So what are your current offers? And that's why I really believe that in family planning, we should also plan our business. So like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, I have a retainer offer for my online business manager clients, and then I have like one-off projects. If I knew that I was going to be going on maternity leave, what I would do is try to make sure that I have monthly recurring revenue coming in, not from projects, but from my retainer offer. So some sort of membership or some sort of monthly service. But those people who do projects, it would be is that beneficial to have some sort of payment plan that overrides or some sort of payment plan that should continue covering as if nothing is happening. And what that does is that it helps you to feel firstly financially secure during the time when you're off and you're not pressured to market. So I would consider offers and I would consider trying to figure out how best to strategize the income that's surrounding these offers. So that's the second thing. So the first thing would be what you want it to look like. The second thing would be offers. And then the third thing would be how are we going to continue the delivery of this service? Because as business owners, our clients come first. That's why we do business. We do business because we want to serve these people. It's not about, yes, we want to make the money. And of course, that is essential and that's super beneficial for us. But we think about the needs of our clients and it's going to be up to us to consider how with this service continue while I'm out for 2 months or 1 month or 3 months. What will it look like? And that's when we talk about trying to get some SOPs in place. And I think that there are critical maternity leave SOPs that will help you to really put the core services in place. And what those maternity leave SOPs, as I like to call them, look like, or what are the things that will break? So what are all the operational questions? So some businesses can go on with just that operations person chipping in during the time that you're away. Some businesses are much more specialized and you need somebody who is a contractor in that area. So for example, if you're an accountant, your ops manager can't take over everything. You need to outsource to a bookkeeper, but your processes look like your processes. So that service that will be continuing in delivery while you're out, that needs to be documented. That's one of the SOPs that every maternity plan has to have. Because if somebody should come into your business, you have to know that that's documented. Okay, what will the workflow look like? How will it move from the ops manager to this contractor? Will you add them into your PM system? Will they be talking directly to your clients? Or do you want just ops managers to talk to your clients and then they'll pass it on in some other way through your PM project management tool? So those are some of the key considerations. Your goal, how you want to show up, your offers, and the delivery of your offers more than anything. And once we have those things solidified, then the other little elements will help to bring it all together.
That is so good. So many great tips there. And so you had mentioned something like, some people decide to like completely kind of shut down or step away from their business during maternity leave. And then other people may decide to still kind of like pop up here and there. So talk to us about the pros and cons of like completely either like shutting your business down or like you stepping away completely like during maternity leave. Like, is that something you recommend?
I honestly think it depends on who you are as a person. I don't think there are pros and cons to it. I just think it's different based on how you do business and how you want to experience maternity leave. So we all have different bandwidths. We all have different attachments to our business. We all do business in a different way. And because of that, you'll find that somebody will be completely okay stepping away. They're confident in their systems. They would have had enough time. Maybe they have a team that they've been testing these SOPs for the past couple of years. So they know that it can work and then they move on, right? You'll also have some moms who say, yeah, I'm confident in my systems, but I at least want to check in once or twice per week just for my mental health, just for my peace of mind. And also, you can get bored with newborns. Like, yeah, at some point you want to be able to step out of your puked up shirt and step into and remind yourself about the boss that you are. So but during sleep time, if you can check in to read what the notes are, and that's another part, because I plan a maternity leave plan for all my clients. I've only had two clients go through maternity leave, to be honest. So it's not all of them. I'm not being dramatic, but, but there's this thing that I have that's, what happened in your business this week document. And what that does is that at the end of the week, I just drop all the things that happened this week in all the different departments, right? Here's what happened in marketing. Here's what happened to your clients. Here's how we served all the clients who are in the membership or all the clients who are on retainer. Here's what happened. Here are the questions that we answered. And if I have any questions, that's where I put it, because I don't want to be slacking anybody during the week if I don't have to. I'm also thinking about it as if they're off grid. Even if they're checking in my head, they're off grid. So everything goes on that document. And then once a week, when the baby is taking a nap, or when they're breastfeeding, or during, when their mom or their auntie or somebody comes over and they have a minute and they're like, oh, let's check in on the business. They know they don't have to check emails. They don't have to go check project management tools. They don't have to check a million things. All they have to do is look on that document and they'll see all the updates. They'll leave comments if they want to. If there are questions there, they'll answer them, and then that's it. So I really think that even if I really think like you can go cold turkey, but even if you go cold turkey and you check in once in a while just to see that everything is fine, because remember that especially if this is your first baby, your business was your previous baby, and people get really attached. One of the things though that I know I've seen that worked when people step in every now and again is that they see things happening. And it's great for your mental health when you see things going on and you see that the work is being done and you see that your team is managing and you have that confidence, because it is still a risk. And we have to be aware that it is still a risk when you leave this entire business that you've built on your back for the past couple of years. It's still a risk to leave people in charge. And I listened to a podcast one day where this lady was saying that she left her team in charge and she had to come back 2 weeks early from the leave that was pre-planned and everything was in place. And that's just because things happen. Launches, sometimes some things fail, and sometimes things happen that's beyond their control. So you can maybe say, well, if things crash, they crash. When I come back, I'll fix it. Or you can say, let me check in on again and I'll step in if I need to. Or I can maybe direct the wheel this way to say, hey, get this done, type of thing. So I don't think there are any pros. So all of that to say, I don't think there are any pros and cons per se. I just think it's so different based on who you are as a person and based on your capacity and based on what gives you anxiety.
Yeah. I love that you have this process in place to kind of meet your clients where they're at. So for those who they're like, you know what, I don't want to deal with any of this. I just want to be on full on maternity leave. And then those who do want to kind of step in and know what's going on and everything. That's so amazing. And I know that gives your clients so much ease and peace about being able to go on their maternity leave. One of the things that comes up, with maternity leave is like, okay, how do I effectively communicate my maternity leave plans, like to my clients, to team members, and really managing those expectations. So how do you support your clients with that? Or like, what tips do you have for like effectively communicating this to all of the people who will be impacted by your maternity leave?
Yeah, great question. I think more than anything, you need to start with a documented plan. And I actually have an offer coming out in 2025, which is going to be a maternity leave bundle, which is nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought it was relevant,
Mhm.
because it's something that I didn't see in the space. And I was like, oh, I should do this. So I'm working on that to be launched next year. But it's a actual plan, like a documented plan that you can store. I love storing things in your project management tools. So whether it be ClickUp or Asana or Notion or Monday or Bit, any one of them, it works. Having a documented plan on what you're going to do pre-maternity leave, all the tasks, what will happen during, what we need to accomplish before we feel comfortable, and also having kind of like a little trial run. So having at least 2 weeks before you go off, having things operate as if you aren't there and seeing where the systems break, what you might need to clarify. Are you even ready for this? And may possibly during those 2 weeks, you'll see that the business is not at a place where you can go full off, but you might need to check in once a week, So it helps to truly get that together. And then after one of the tasks in in the entire plan is that we need to introduce the people who are taking over to your clients. So after the team is comfortable, and as I mentioned before, you should have an operations manager who feels competent and comfortable with running this business as if you weren't there, because that's why you have ops people. You have ops people so that you can ultimately step aside if you need to step aside. If your ops manager cannot do that, it means that you have a virtual assistant and not an operations manager. That's really where the slight difference is. So the slight difference is a VA needs direction, and you have to tell them, hey, this is what I needed to do. You have to have the goal and you need to have the strategy. But a operations manager or OBM can step in and say, okay, here's what we are going to do. This is what we're going to do. And also as the integrator, being able to not be your yes man and being able to say, oh no, that's not what's going to happen. I think this is what should happen. And then you as a CEO go, that's how you think? Okay, cool. I'll think about it. I'll consider your opinions. Because of course, you still your business, but I'll consider your opinions and helping you to create this strategic plan. So after you're convinced that, okay, this makes sense, then I recommend 2 emails to your clients. One email letting them know that you're going to be taking a maternity leave. And this is anywhere between 2 to 3 months out, letting them know what will be happening. If you have any project, here's the last date to book X. If you have any upcoming projects, let's talk about it beyond this time. I won't be booking any new clients during this section of the time. But if you want to book with me, you'll have to do it up until this date. Then you say, and nothing will stop. Business will run as usual. You can use your support tickets. You can email. The business will still be running. I just won't be here. So if you need me, here is my deadline. And then that would be the initial email. And then the second email is an email that should go out 2 weeks before you go off, introducing them to the team. Because the truth is, it shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't matter to them that you're moving on, because the quality of their service should not drop. So 2 weeks before you introduce them to your team, you can say, if you need anything, here's my operations manager. You can decide if you want to introduce your specialist, you can, or you can say, my team will handle it, right? But it's really good to leave at least one point of contact. For some businesses, it's not an operations manager. For some businesses, it's going to be like an art director. So like I know you have creative agencies who have art directors as kind of their client point person. So whoever your client point person is, that's the person you say. And most times that client point person will be managing your inbox as well, and maybe signing as them so that people know that it's not them. But just to clarify, I love doing those 2 things. So one, you communicate with your team what that will look like. And also in that planning document, you would have how will your role change when I go off on maternity leave? What will you be doing? What's expected of you? Whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 people, things may look different or it may not. But for some people, especially if it's going to change, it's always really good to identify how their role will change, explain that to them, do the transition, and then not to really explain, but tell your clients that here's how you get things handled while I'm out.
That is so good. And I love the 2 emails that you like recommend sending and stuff. And just thinking about it too, like if it's a mom who, or a business owner who they already kind of have a team, most likely your current clients are familiar with that team in some way.
Yes.
So that should really help with making that transition, run smoothly. And like you said, the main thing is that the quality of the work provided doesn't drop just because you are on maternity leave and everything. And so I want to ask you, for the mama who is listening or the mama to be, maybe she's nervous or anxious about really stepping away from her business. Like, what words of wisdom, like what advice do you have for her? Because she needs to
Yeah.
take this time away, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
something where it's like, oh no, I can keep doing it. Like, don't be me. But like what advice do you have for her?
I think at the baseline, it's letting go of the fear of delegation. This season is the one season in your life that you need to accept help, and not just in your business, in every sphere. But right now it's going to require you to be okay with accepting help. And I know a lot of people are concerned about, oh, we may not have the budget to get somebody or to pay a VA or ops assistant or somebody to take over. But I want you to think about it this way. Think about the losses that your business will make, will go through if you don't get somebody in, and compare that to what the hourly rates or whatever. And if it's worth it to outsource, you definitely should. You also can get a short contract. It doesn't have to be somebody who says, oh, you have to work with me for a minimum of 3 months or 6 months. It can be somebody who's okay with working just by the hour for the time that you're going to be out. So one, accept help. Two, plan strategically. Your systems can do the heavy lifting for you. It's not as hard to create systems as you think it is. I think more than anything, we need patience and we need intentionality. Go on Loom, just talk to the camera, talk through your processes, grab that transcript. Loom also makes your SOPs for you now, but try your best to create your systems. I think that's maybe the biggest thing, because your systems will do the heavy lifting. Your business should be set up in a way where if any stranger taps in and logs into your things, they know what to do. Step one, two, three. They should be able to take full control of that, because that's why you build a business. You build a business to be able to tap out at some point. And we talk a lot. I love that we're having this conversation, because we talk a lot about, oh, I want to build a business so I can go on a vacation, or I can go on the beach and sip pina colada and whatever and travel to Dubai. But it's not even always about that. It's about moments like this you're bringing new life into the world, and it's so special that you've gotten the gift of being a mommy, and you now have to combine that gift with the gift of being an entrepreneur and being your own boss. Or what happens when the baby gets sick, or what happens when your partner is tapped out and you now have to run the business yourself. And as solopreneurs, I know, especially people who work by themselves, are like, I do not want to manage a team. I do not want to manage anybody. And that's completely fine, as long as you have the processes just in case you have to step out and somebody will come in just to cover you for a little bit until you can be back by yourself again. That's something I want you to always consider. How am I setting up this business, even as a solopreneur, so that if I need to leave for a month, if I need to leave for 3 weeks, my business will not suffer. My clients will not suffer.
So good. Such good advice. So we're going to kind of switch gears here a little bit. So one question I love to ask my guests is, who is one coach or mentor that has had a major impact on your entrepreneurial journey?
Oh wow, that's such a good question. I'm one of those people who a chorus loves to see me coming. If there's a chorus, I'm gonna take it. But so there were two girls, Jeannie and Laura, back in the day in 2019, I think. And they were teaching social media marketing. And I took a course from them called Instagram Business Academy or something like that. But basically what they were doing was that they were teaching you how to run a business on Instagram using Instagram marketing. But that their coaching was so much more than Instagram. And at the time, I wanted to be an Instagram strategist. That was the first online business gig, like the real business I tried to build out, right? But it truly changed just the way I viewed the online business world. It taught me a lot of marketing principles. And I think it also helped with my confidence. It helped with my outlook. It tackled things like imposter syndrome. We did a lot of mindset work in that course and through their coaching. So I think that truly changed the trajectory of my life, because that's where I decided, like, okay, I'm going to change my prices and higher my prices and try Instagram and shift into a service-based model where I could charge higher tickets and work with fewer people. Like that whole thing, it truly got cemented from there. And then then after that, there was this other lady called Erica. And at the time I knew how to run a business on social media. And then I wanted to build out a business, like an agency. So I joined this other course with Erica. Erica now she doesn't even do that anymore. She has also pivoted. But because you know how we are in the online business space.
we
don't
try
stay
it
one
all.
place. Yeah, we try it all. So, but Erica's course taught me a lot about, even though social media was really what I went for, and I learned how to be a social media agency owner, it taught me a lot about business operations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I initially fell in love with business operations. So even though I went into social media for 2 years, a lot of the things that I learned from her, I used that to run my agency, and just the organization and workflows and back end ops and all of that. And I loved it. And I think the combination of those 2 major courses in the early parts of my career and having those coaches there to kind of guide me along the way, it helps me to avoid a lot of chaos, a lot of second guessing. And I strongly believe in mentorship and coaching. It's one of my favorite things ever. As I said, if a coach hates to see me coming once there is something that I need to learn, I'm going to invest. So yeah.
I love that. So you have a maternity leave checklist for the listeners. Tell us all about it.
Okay, so you can go on my website, and when you go on my website, you should see a pop-up. If you don't see a pop-up right now, because I'm not sure when this will air, and I'm not sure where in this journey my website will be or where this lead magnet will be. But this checklist should be available on my website. If not, you can always DM me at OBM by Z on Instagram. I'm always there. I'm also always on Threads chatting away. So you can find me there and grab your checklist.
All right. I will definitely link your Instagram and your Threads on there. And yeah, we'll get the link for you guys. Don't worry. So share where listeners can connect with you and just learn more about working with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me at www.zhara-marie.org. That's on my website. And then also on Instagram and Threads and LinkedIn. But a lot of the content that's on LinkedIn and Instagram are repurposed from Threads, because Threads is like my favorite place right now.
Yes.
Because that's where I get to truly be me. I don't have to create any graphics, or I don't have to record anything. I can just talk, and I'm a talker, if you haven't figured that out by now. So that's really where you can find me. I have a retainer offer where I offer 20 hours and 40-hour retainers. And I also have project-based offers where I do maternity leave planning, SOP building, Dubsado setups. But as I said, in 2025, I'm more leaning to that, maybe having one project offer, which would possibly be a maternity leave planning bundle. So
that is awesome. Well, I will make sure to link all of your information in the show notes. But thank you so much, Zhara, just for sharing so many great tips and insights when it comes to maternity leave planning as a business owner. I know listeners are going to benefit greatly from this information. So thank you again.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to connecting with all of you.
Yes. Well, Mama, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang with me. If you enjoyed today's episode, will you do me a favor and follow the podcast and leave a review? Hitting that follow button and sharing your thoughts about the podcast are the best ways to ensure that other mamas like you find this show. Your review also lets me know if you're enjoying this podcast, so make sure to share your thoughts before you go. All right, Mama, I'll catch you in the next episode.